to my channel. My name is Yvonne, and in this video I briefly want to talk about the shaming of entrepreneurs and how it's being perpetuated by the American government. So there have been ICE raids. ICE is Immigration Custom Enforcement raids that have been taking place in businesses, companies, and in farms all across America. And what is going on is ICE is basically going into these companies, these businesses, and arresting people who are working there because of their immigration status. So they say that these people are not supposed to be working, and not necessarily just not working. Some of them have expired visas, so they could have a work permit, but it's expired. And so they enter these businesses and arrest people there, and they just did that. They did a massive raid in Georgia, in a Hyundai facility, whereby they arrested more than 400 people, and majority of them were South Korean employees who had flown into the country to set up a plant in Georgia. And they arrested them, and basically the whole arrest situation was sort of a humiliation ritual, because the way they arrested them, you'd think these people had killed somebody. They had killed a bunch of people. They were a gang. They were selling drugs or something. It was a full humiliation ritual that took place there. And part of this plays into the mentality that a lot of people have when it comes to entrepreneurship and business owners. So as a society, we do need more jobs. And because we do need more jobs and people need money for their daily living, there is need for more job creators. But what normally happens when it comes to entrepreneurs? They get shamed. They get shamed for failing, for starting a business. They get told, people don't need that, or you're not going to get customers. So even when they have seen a need in society that they feel that they can provide that need, there is a shaming that goes into entrepreneurship, and basically job creators are shamed, and they tend to get humiliated by society. And the American government seems to be now entering into that realm of shaming businesses for hiring people who are available and able to work. Okay? They're not just able to work. They are available and they're able to work. So they create a business, build a company, hire people, and boom, the American government shows up there to do what? To arrest their employees and basically do an elaborate humiliation ritual of humiliating these employees and basically shaming entrepreneurs and business owners. Because basically they are saying this is what's going to happen to you if you don't hire people that we deem that you should be hiring. And I'm going to say this because they want to hire people, Americans. They want to hire Americans and people who are, of course, legally in America. That's what they want these businesses to do. But the reality of the situation is businesses hire people who will show up to work. People who are available and show up to work in that region. So you can be available and you have the skills to work, but you live in another state. How are they supposed to hire you? How are they supposed to hire people who live in another state, are not willing to relocate, and they have a company in another, in a like a remote location, for example? How are they supposed to hire these people? So, and then there's the issue of the skills, and then you enter into intellectual property. So, because if you have a company and you have intellectual property, of course you want to protect your intellectual property. So you can't just hire people just randomly, because you're trying to protect also your intellectual property and basically compete in the market. With that said, as a society, if we want more jobs, we need to support entrepreneurs, and not necessarily we need to buy their stuff or buy their services. We need to stop shaming them. We need to stop shaming people who wake up in the morning and create a job for themselves first, and then others. We need to stop shaming these people. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.